off the bat, 3-year layoff for Henry Cejudo after, I mean, literally doing it the way that you should do it. Retire in grace. You won, man. You beat the guy. You won. You dipped out. You double belts, all that. And then you come back. What are your thoughts?
Always an interesting call, man, when a guy takes 2 years off and you always have those thoughts. Is this money? Is this fame? What's he looking for? Is he just out there looking for a little extra payday, clout, whatever it is? But Cejudo was very successful out of the octagon, Derek. And then he started training people. So I think this is a hunger he had in him. So I wasn't too concerned about the time layoff. And when everybody's talking about 3 years, but he said himself, man, he was planning this for a year. So really 2 years off doesn't seem like too big of a layoff for me. I mean, especially 31 to 33. Yeah, those are about your golden years, especially at the young or the smaller weight class. Like it's didn't worry me too much. Do you put a lot of emphasis on it? Or do you come in the aspect of this gave him a little bit of time to take that reset, be that coach, have that coach mentality? Because that's where I am, man. That's what I think it plays into a lot right here.
Well, I mean, it's a fair assessment because you got to think about Coach Khabib, right? You're like, well, if Khabib came back, is he still just ragdolling everybody and anybody, right? Who knows? Weight's an issue. All of that stuff is an issue. My thing is there's a difference between being molded in the fire, right? Literally sculpted through that versus I'm secondhand getting that because I'm coaching people. I'm learning it from a different perspective. It's still very valuable, the coaching perspective Cejudo has taken, but it's not the same thing as actually doing it, right? So my question to you right here is, do you think that the championship camps that Aljamain Sterling has been putting himself through time and time again, I don't want to say it's like something crazy, but I'm just saying last 3 years, the man has been active. He's been getting it. Do you think there's something at hand there that gives you a little bit of an advantage in terms of a real combat situation?
Oh, yeah, man. The iron being forged against the anvil, Derek, always speaks levels. Because if you're not in the gym putting in the work, you're not going to show up on fight night ready for the actual scrap. But the thing is, man, Henry Cejudo's been putting in that work since he's 11 years old. So I think that the medal is there regardless. I would agree with you, though. It seems like Aljo has at least been more focused on instead of spreading his mentality elsewhere, if that makes sense, which there is something to be said about that, whether you're the hammer or the nail, depends on which one is the outlook. But I don't know, man, this is what makes this fight so difficult to me, because I can see both sides of the argument on this one, where it always blows my mind. Like you said, both people are both sides of this fight card are very polar opposite.
Yeah, very divisive on this one. And I'm not going to lie to you. I was up all night watching film, just getting a little extra, like, is there something I could pick up here? And I watched Henry Cejudo, and I'm just like, this man is so good, man. He is so good, and it's good in an unexpected way. The narrative is, oh, he's this wrestler. He's going to wrestle you, and he's going to do this, but he doesn't have to. He can keep it on the feet the entire time. The whole entire game plan for Henry Cejudo, in my opinion, is avoid any grappling exchange from Aljamain Sterling and pick him apart from the outside. Now, the only problem I see there, and I want your opinion on this, Aljamain Sterling isn't a flyweight, right? And even though Dominic Cruz he's Dominic Cruz, bro, and Henry Cejudo was able to pick him apart with leg kicks, Aljamain is he's funky. He's the funk master, man. He's weird. He's long. He'll do spinning shit to close the distance and all of that. And the difference between Dominic Cruz and Aljamain Sterling is you get into a grappling situation with Dominic Cruz, you're not really too worried with the wrestling. Wrestling versus wrestling. This one, you get your back taken, and now you spend that whole round there unless you can immediately get out of it. That's the tit and the tat. So you tell me, man, what are your thoughts on that?
I couldn't agree with you more. I'm glad you asked this one, Derek, because I was curious if this fight's actually going to hit the ground or not. Because I agree with you. Cejudo wants to keep this fight on the feet, avoid all wrestling, all grappling at all from the Funk Master, because he is exactly that funky. In the interviews, Henry Cejudo said himself, Aljo is precise on his transitions and quick. That's the big scare right there. When Aljo has the chance to see the backpack or see the submission, see any kind of thing he's good at, he'll snatch it up, especially rear naked choke, front look, whatever it is. Now, Cejudo knows that going into this one. It makes it a very finicky fight for both fighters, because I think it's going to be a stand-up battle. And if we watch, at least you mentioned the Dom Cruz fight, it's kind of apples to pears against Dom versus Aljo, because Aljo fights a little longer, a little wider. He's a little shorter in his stance, where Dom has that funky movement, and Cejudo was able to time himself on Dom's entrances, where I don't know if, at least for the first round, Aljamain's going to engage. I can take this fight a little bit more how Jan versus Sterling 2 went, where Aljo kind of took that first round off, saw what he can do, and then made advances on his holes. But will Cejudo have the holes to be hit?
That's the big question right there. I say this, man. I think that when it comes down to the mental aspect of this game, there's nobody stronger right now than Henry Cejudo mentally, right? I think that he is a tactician's tactician. Like, he can see holes that other people can't see. The question is, can the 36-year-old body of a Henry Cejudo keep up with the mind? And I just don't know because it's 3 years of inactivity. So, yeah, man, I'll keep it as simple as this. I think if Aljamain Sterling is not able to get a takedown or initiate a grappling sequence, he loses. It's easy. If he is able to backpack, he wins. It's like pretty simple game plans here, you know what I mean? But it's a matter of who comes out on top in these exchanges, and does the size play a factor? Aljamain Sterling is substantially larger than Henry Cejudo. If we're looking at measurements, you're looking at, I mean, listen, man, I don't know if this is true because I have two different reach readings right here. On Tapology, Henry Cejudo is at 67.5 inches, which is pretty damn long for somebody who fought at 125 pounds. On ESPN, they have it at 64 inches. I mean, the thing is, if you're talking about Aljamain Sterling, it's 71 inches, regardless of where you go. This dude is long, and when he fights, his hands are already halfway extended. So he's already beaten you halfway to the punch right there. I don't know, man. I think size does play a factor, especially in grappling exchanges, man. But Henry Cejudo is a master of not allowing the takedown to happen. You know what I mean? So we can sit here, bro, and we can just fucking eyes glaze over, talk about how fun these guys are, but let's put pen to paper and let's talk about the actual outcome, man. Money line, minus 105. Underdog is Aljamain Sterling, or I don't know, how am I reading these? These are damn near even odds. Minus 105 for Sterling, minus 115 for Cejudo. Cejudo would be, I believe, the favorite in this matchup. The point is, this is the point. If you look at the odds right now, they haven't changed, AJ. They haven't changed. So that means to me that it's not heavy money coming in one way or the other. People are undecided. There's not this divisiveness that is out there on the Twitter sphere. If we're talking about the props, though, plus 215 decision for Cejudo, plus 250 decision for Sterling. Almost even again. There's nothing that the odds can do to help you out on this one, brother. You got to give your pick and give your how. How's it going to happen?
You're right, Derek. I'm personally going for the left field. Folks, I'm not a fan of the cringe at all, but I do got to appreciate a great fighter that Henry Cejudo is. I think he's going to show up to scrap. I'm going TKO, and I'm going round 3, Derek. I'm not even sticking to the decision because it is a very hard choice.
Sheesh. And I mean, listen, if he gets it done, I don't know. I'm trying to visualize in my head, how does Henry Cejudo finish Aljamain Sterling? Does he head kick him, hit him with a big right hand down the pipe? Does he take his back and then ground and pound? I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing that I can see in many different fashions. Aljamain Sterling, win it, boring, control time, backpack style, decision over triple cringe and send him back to retirement. I'm going to be honest with you folks who rock with me and my picks. This is not a major confident pick right here. In all honesty, this is a stay away. This is one of those where there's too many unknowns. You really should only wager on the knowns, a lot of variables that you can identify. We don't have that in this one, but give me Aljamain Sterling plus 250 decision because I do not like that minus 105 right there. Give it to me all day, brother. All right, last one before we move on. I know normally we move on directly after this, but if Henry Cejudo wins, how much longer can he stick around, bro? Because it's like, what are we having, a third career right here in the UFC? What are we doing?
I think he goes one more fight. Alexander Volkanovski. Maybe he gets it done. Maybe he doesn't, man. But that's where if Henry Cejudo wins this fight, that's definitely the plan. What do you think?
All right, fair enough. I don't know. I don't see it. 36 years old, bro. Yeah, you probably only got one more in you, John Jones style, something like that, but we'll see what happens. All right, man, let's move on to this co-main event. Let's get it.